Hey, good afternoon. This is Ryan Morales with Florida One. I have a special guest today, and this is our Tallahassee update with Representative Felicia Robinson, who is the House District 102 representative, which actually covers Miami Gardens through Miramar area. That would be down in the South Miami County. Mrs. Robinson is actually a committee assigned to Children, Families, and Seniors Subcommittee, Health and Human Services Committee, Local Administration and Veterans Affairs Subcommittee, Secondary Education and Career Development Subcommittee, State Administration and Technology Appropriations Subcommittee. So obviously you're a very busy woman, so we don't want to take up too much of your time, but thank you for joining us here. We'd like to really just get down to the nitty-gritty of what's going on in this session and ask you a couple questions.
Sounds good. Just want to let you know, so I'm actually South Broward, North Dade. So I'm down in the South, but I'm not South Miami. It's more North Miami. Just want to make sure you know.
Thank you for the clarification. That's all.
And yes, I have 5 different committees that I'm on this particular session. And I'm excited because all of them are very, very important for our community. When we talk about children, family, and seniors, that deals with our welfare system, a lot of foster care and different things like that, our seniors. And we know that our children and our seniors are very, very important. So we don't take that lightly. We're looking at making some changes and really improving that system. And everyone knows that healthcare is number one. If you're not healthy, then what can you do? Everything else really doesn't matter. I know we talked about maybe some of the bills that I may be proposing. I haven't filed any yet, but I do have several that's in drafting. And just to share a little bit of that, I have one bill that's going to be dealing with HIV. We know HIV came out back in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was very devastating. Since then, medical science and research have really done an amazing job in tackling that particular disease. However, it is a disease that has been highly discriminated against, and we're looking at doing some legislation that would change that will improve the stigma that comes along with HIV and just make it where people are more willing to be tested, know their status, and be able to actually take a part in treatment. So that's actually in bill drafting, and we're looking at doing something there that I think would make a major impact in the health community. Another bill that I have in drafting is dealing with our small business. It's a bill that's going to actually try to give some assistance with our small business negotiating tax debts with the DOR. At this time right now, especially coming out of the pandemic, a lot of our small businesses, they might have fallen behind actually, handle all of their different finances. And right now there is no system to actually give them any relief. Actually, they have to pay or they're penalized. They don't have a system that gives them like increments and things like that. So we're looking at actually doing some type of legislation that will assist in that manner. And I have some other things that's in, but they're not really ready to talk about yet. But those were the main 2 that I'm actually working on presently.
Awesome. I actually do like the AIDS thing a lot because a lot of people forget about the fact that AIDS is still around. And it actually usually, from my understanding, because I've worked in Miami with Care Resource Center, actually, who is a huge fighter for this. And basically, it actually hurts more of people of color, the Haitian community down in Miami. That's usually a big issue with them, as well as with the Latinos and just more of your poor folk that end up having these issues. So, we appreciate you trying to put these bills in place that help these people out because they need the help and they appreciate it. Currently, I know there's a bunch of bills that the GOP is trying to slam through. anything that you're wary of that you want us to be aware of? Because, we see what they're trying to do.
Yes. And so, yes, we all know that this bill has been filed. If you don't know, I'm here to tell you HB 167, which is a copycat from Texas, the 6-week abortion ban bill. And it hurts me to actually even talk about it, but you have to talk about it because you have to do something about it. And this particular bill, first of all, when I thought about the legislature and I chose to actually run for this office, it was all about solving problems or solving an issue, trying to address something that was actually hurting the community or hurting society. However, I cannot figure out where this bill or how this bill is trying to actually solve an issue or, address a problem. If anything, it seems to just be creating more of a problem. When I think about this bill, the things that it's doing is really all about, to me, control.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we want to take us back in time and have control over a woman. Or maybe they don't think that we're actually human, that we're actually, able to make decisions for ourselves. I said, when I think about this bill again, I say, so they want to ban or not allow a woman to have the choice to choose what she wants to happen with her body. I wonder how that would work if we decided to do a legislation that said that men at a certain age should have to have a vasectomy at a certain age or after they have so many kids.
Yep.
Let's just, let's have a vasectomy and, see how that works. Because, hey, actually a vasectomy is something that they can undo.
Yep.
But, it's just, to me, this bill, it brings a major component just saying that we're treating women like we're second-class citizens, like we can't make our own decision, we don't have a choice. And then it has the nerve to actually make private citizens like bounty hunters because it's allowing them to be able to tell on someone and take action and sue, things that does not make any sense at all. Is this particular bill will disproportionately affect women of color and pretty much people that's in poverty. And I just really don't understand why we're doing this, but I am ready to actually advocate and talk and fight against it. When we look at this bill, I said, if we really want to discourage or combat, or we have a major problem with abortion, then we should really make sure that we do things that will combat that, like healthcare, making sure that it's accessible for everybody, accessible, affordable, and that it's efficient. We want to bring kids, or we want to make sure that kids come into the world, but then once they get here, what are we doing? When we talk about that, here in Florida, we have like over 22,000 children that's in foster care.
Yep.
We want to talk about Miami-Dade County. We're near like 1,000 children, in Broward. So we have these kids that's here that we're not necessarily taking care of appropriately. I told you I sit on the Children, Family, and Seniors. We're steadily trying to improve that system. But then now we want to take the choice away from a parent on whether they want to bring a child into this situation. We don't have proper healthcare education. We're continuously, I work in the school system, and we're continuously watering down or, not being able to give children, or actually the children that actually need the information are the children that's not getting it the most. When we talk about this particular bill, if we want to do something about abortion, then let's make sure that we have free paid parent leave, things so that when parents do have kids, they have a way of actually, being there and being able to help and take care of them. So that's what I think about, or issues that I have, or concerns that I have when it comes to this particular piece of legislation. It's unnecessary, it's not warranted, and it's really unconstitutional. You
It
know,
is.
it's totally unconstitutional what they're trying to do. But and I think, they tend to always, or we tend to always somewhat follow Texas lead. If we can get it done in Texas, we can try it in Florida. I don't think it's going to fly. I hope it's not going to fly. And I'm going to do anything possible to make sure that it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. That's just something that's not even right. It's a constitutional amendment right as well that's been there for 50 years with Roe versus Wade. There's no reason to be changing that, removing that, leave it alone. This is just something to rile up the base for these MAGAs, and that's all this is really doing, is getting them all riled up and then triggering them with that one issue that they've been at for years. So it sucks because it really takes away from things that we should be focusing on. Like I've spoken before, climate change, feeding hungry children, fixing the environment, fixing our climate, fixing our beaches, no more red tides so people could come to our beaches. Tourism gets hurt with these things that we're doing ourselves, or we're allowing to happen because we're not doing anything about. So there's so many more important things in this state that we need to handle. What are some of the other things that you're actually looking out and hoping that would pass, that some of our fellow Democratic representatives are trying to pass through, that you think are exciting that we could get behind?
Well, surprisingly enough, and I'm not sure because it's still early, and I do recognize how legislation changes up. So this one here, I'm kind of nervous about even talking about it. However, and it's not this one here is not necessarily coming from a Democrat. This is the governor's bill that has to do with testing. So okay. I am an educator. Been an educator for the last 27 years. And that was one of my main bills. I actually had a piece of legislation that I was going to run dealing with testing in our schools. And since he's come out with this new form of testing, I'm not going to file that one because I'm really interested on seeing how this particular piece of legislation is going to work. So I'm really excited about it. Actually, I'm here in the schools now, before I head back up to Tallahassee, and I've been talking to some of my colleagues and some of the people that's here. And we're really hopeful that this time around, people get it.
I hope so.
We believe that our students need to be assessed. We do need to know where they are, but in the manner in which it has been happening is really, it undermines the education system, basically. So we're hoping, it sounds, at my first glance, it looks like this could be a positive. And so I will be looking at it very, very closely. And I encourage parents, other educators, and everyone to look at it, because we really do need to do something about the testing system in our educational system, K through 12 here in the state of Florida. So hopefully this is going to give us some relief, and our children can truly look forward to having a successful education, learning the knowledge, and being assessed appropriately, not over-assessed.
No, that's awesome. And I really look forward to seeing that improvement, especially with having 2 young children in our current public educational system. So this is very important for me as well. So I definitely look forward to seeing what these changes are going to be like. I know the Common Core math thing was a big issue. I'm hoping that we resolve that as quickly as possible.
That's one of the things that it's doing. It's like it's going to be phasing that out. And like I said, so it's still new, they haven't gotten down to the details of it, but I will definitely be keeping a close look on it. I will be reporting, giving out information as it comes to me to keep people up to date on that, because this is the Common Core was the second go round of, major assessment. And we didn't get it quite right the first time. We didn't get it right the second time. So I'm hoping that this time we'll get it right. And one of the things that I would suggest, if anyone's listening, is that have an educator be a part of, the strategy, a part of the setup. Don't just come and throw something at us and think that it's going to work, because we're here in the trenches.
Yeah, exactly. No, that definitely makes sense. So, we definitely appreciate having someone like you, an educator up in Tallahassee, making sure that these things are going the way that they need to go for our children's sake. Can you quickly remind people where they could find information about you, your campaign, and where they could actually donate to you?
Well, you can find me at www.electfeliciarobinson.com. But I'm on Facebook as Rep Robinson, and Instagram as Rep Robinson. And then I can be contacted at 305-600-9035 or Felicia for Florida at gmail.com.
Well, thank you very much, Felicia Robinson. I know your time is precious, so this is an honor to have you here. So thank you very much. If you have anything else you'd like to say, please.
One thing, I am wearing pink today. I wear pink all month. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I do urge each and every last one of you to. It's also take your loved one to the doctor month. I'm very big on making sure that we stay healthy. So when it comes to breast cancer or any of the cancer or disease, period, prevention and early detection is the key. So please make sure that you go regularly to the doctor. If you don't have insurance, we have community health centers that will allow you to, see a doctor, and they will charge you only based upon what you're able to pay. There's no reason for anyone not to go to the doctor. Something that I really am passionate about is hoping that we can start doing more preventative care rather than doing what we do now. Everything is reactive. So I wish everyone well, and let's try to stay healthy.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree with that statement that I like to be focusing on preventative care instead of reactive care. That is definitely the way that we need to change our country. I look forward to seeing you, and I hope you have a wonderful year and continue doing what you do up in Tallahassee. Thank you very much.